So, so oftentimes, obviousness can be interpreted exactly as its nomenclature implies. It's obvious. Um, in the road and airway safety industry, safety is an obvious and necessary point of invention. But at what point does the safety feature become something that anyone would figure out, and at what point it is actually just pure novelty? So in the case that's going on with Runway Safe LLC versus engineering arresting systems, just to clarify what arresting systems are, they are often barriers or absorption type materials that you often see on the highways. Usually when there's a split in the highway, there'll be these barriers that sort of arrest. They're called arresting because they arrest the speed of the vehicle to slow you down before you really hit like a hard impact like concrete or steel. So arresting systems, the issue at hand is that, no matter how creative or innovative these barriers are between, these two firms that are creating these arresting systems, the courts are saying, you can create arresting systems that, drastically reduce the speed, or that reduce the speed at a more even, safer rate, or that collapse, or that are waterproof. But at the end of the day, these are things that are, beside the fact of what the product actually does. And the prior art here is that there has already been arresting systems created that have been patented that prove that slow the speed of the car. And so all these new features that are on the arresting system don't necessarily have any difference on the root problem, because the solution to the root problem has already been patented. Another difficulty going against these companies and their search for intellectual property is that one of the major improvements is that, they're saying, well, we're making these arresting systems that are waterproof. So when it's rainy, the compounds that are within the arresting system, the blocks, the barrels, the foam materials don't get soggy, they don't get heavy, they don't make it any less safe. They're waterproof, so that when they're waterproof and airtight, regardless of the outside conditions, they still do the same job. But they're saying that the courts were not convinced that this was necessarily solving a problem that hasn't already been solved before. You can't necessarily have a patent on air seal technology, nor can you, add a patent onto this because, again, as I said before, this is something that's already been fixed. The ground rules set by this court decision reinforce prior art, not only in terms of the actual invention or the physical product, but rather the implementation of the product and what the product is designed to fix. So I think this is a cool case to look at because it really makes you look at a product or a system or whatever you may want to call it and say, okay, what are we really doing here? What is the core? And then looking at the things that are asides to it, the technology, the air seal, the watertight, the foam, and really saying, is that contributing to making something more novel? Is it being more creative? Or is it something that, I don't know, say, is just an addition and doesn't necessarily deserve the legal protection that it could afford? So anyways, thanks for listening.